Evan Haining.
You are now tuned into the truth frequency.
Your protection from deception. This is Truth Frequency Radio.
When you finally boil it all down, magic is imagination. We are moving into an age of manifestation. Things become actually less material, more ethereal. The golden dawn is when we awaken to this new station of life. What you think becomes real quicker. Regain our imagination, regain our inner child, and let that inner child out.
My name is Frank Castle, founding member of the music group Heistlick and New York City Neo Shaman. After a serious injury sidelined my career in 2013, I decided to set out on an adventure to search for myself with the help of the plant medicine ayahuasca. What I discovered waiting for me was something I could have never prepared for. It was time for me to become something more, someone more. It was time I became fearless. Shine as my heart beats a rhythm with space and time. When the light starts to shine inside your third eye, you awake to the knowledge that you never die. What is up, everyone? My name is Frank Castle, your host and sorcerer supreme right here in each and every Saturday night on Truth Frequency Radio. This is Fearless, and I'm joined by my etherical translator, Paula Milo.
Hey, everyone.
Quick shout outs to Chris and Cherie. Love you guys. As we left off last week.
Yeah, I want to jump right into this because I don't want you to lose it.
We spoke about my ayahuasca session and how I was being held down. Watched my mother and Paula being abused, terrorized, tortured, everything that goes along with that. And it made its way over to me. I got so worked up, I didn't know what to do. I was screaming and yelling and saying the worst things you could possibly imagine, right? Trying to get everyone's attention. And they would just peer back at me and be like, "You're next." And I'm like, you know what? You could just leave them alone. You could just take me. I'm the one you want anyway. Come on, let's do it because you're the ones doing that. And then instead of breaking into fear mode, I kind of recessed into a submission, and they came over to me, and it started happening to me. And honestly, it looks worse, so much worse than what it feels like. The fear leaves you, but you're not feeling your arm being pulled off. Like, if you felt that, that would be insane, right?
Right.
If your foot came off and they were chewing it, and you're like, oh, and they're drinking blood out of your friggin' leg, and you go, like, that hurts. I can feel that. Instead, it was the fear that you felt. You're looking directly into the eyes of these things, and they're munching away, but I didn't feel nothing. You know why? Why don't we feel nothing on that end? Because we're the shit. That's why. You can't hurt me. You can't hurt me. I can only hurt me. Anyway.
Yes.
But it got really dark.
Say that again. I can only hurt me.
I can only hurt me. You can't hurt me. You think you could hurt me, but I'm the one that hurts me. Right? Especially in this situation. If I start digging too deep, they're getting me. And the more I whine and the more it ramps up and crazier it gets. And the more I just go, you know what? Let's go. If this is what it is and I have to resign to this, fine. You're not getting me. No matter what happens, you get nothing.
I just have to get to the other side of this experience.
I have to just make it through this, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing that we never die truly pushes me right through that keyhole.
Mm-hmm.
I launched out, found myself in a womb, my mother's womb. I began the healing process after seeing everything that I saw and going through what I did. I felt safe and warm, and I curled into a fetal position. And the whole time I was flopping around like a fish. And, everybody, Aaron was there, Paul was there. They're asking, "You all right? Is he all right?" They're checking on me and everything. Fantastic the way they held space. And then Aaron I left out some tools for the talent. He asked me if I had any instruments. I said, I don't play instruments. My instrument is my voice, although I'd love to play something. I realized I have the tuning fork.
Right.
I have the singing bowl. There's stuff I have. And I'm like, oh, this is awesome. So I put the tuning fork out, 532 frequency.
528.
528.
Megahertz.
Yes. And hit it and put it on my spine.
Yep.
And I saw the colors blues and the reds. And I started to feel like I was being birthed again, being born again. I don't like using that word. It gets mixed up with the space Jesus freaks. But being truly born again, going back in time, going inside, and healing the damage you just witnessed. I healed myself because I was inside of Mother, and then Mother was healing because I was healing, and I, inside of her, giving off that energy, healing her in return, like a figure 8, the infinite.
Yeah,
loop.
well, trauma in the womb and birth trauma is one of the first traumas we experience. And, you think you don't remember it or recall it, but it's there. You just have to access it wherever it is locked in your mind.
What did you say to me today about birth trauma? Do you remember?
Well, I said so many things today.
Okay. No. You said something about certain type of people.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I went to this class, and it was a group session years ago where we were all clearing trauma. And I'm terrified of the dentist. And there's a direct correlation between being scared of the dentist and birth trauma. And I basically was in like a light hypnotic state and had to revisit the trauma of my birth, and it was very difficult to deal with. And that was way before Aya. But I think all of those experiences before Aya is what helped me get through. But it was. I'm still terrified of the dentist, and
That's right. It was the dentist.
Yeah, the dentist. And then you told your dentist story. We were talking about the stories about the dentist, and it's
frightening. Some of the stuff I talked about
very,
was pretty horrible.
very frightening, and it's all related
Waking
to
up in the middle of it.
Yeah, to birth trauma. So you have to get through that. You have to push through it.
I had my jaw broken. My palate was smashed in a fight, and I had gotten jumped, and they put my head in a box and put the screws in, and then I had no clue they did that, and then I woke up and the blocks were in my mouth, and I was wide awake. I heard them talking and then crunching and all. Yeah, so we all have like these crazy stories, and it always relates somewhere back to the fear of this goes to the a problem with being born.
Yes.
Through the birth process. I mean, not to mention the guys, a bunch of us are, you're initially smacked, you're disconnected from your mother, you're taken away and not giving directly to your mother. The cord is cut too early, and then the boys are circumcised, and who knows what goes on with everything else. Like all of that is enough already. So
it leaves very little bonding time.
Very little. And that's the healing part. It's like, oh, I made it into this world. Instead, it's bang. Like I'm in the world. Like what's happening to me?
Yeah, alone and scared. That's what happens.
It's just so weird. If I came out and if the kittens had a baby, and then you go out to try to help the babies run because they just want to be maternally just up against the mother. They don't want Frank's help.
No.
Even though they don't understand that if Frank could come over and help, they'd eat nice and have a warm bed. None of that matters. It's like they need mother before anything. Before Frank could get involved, mom needs to show up and do some stuff. Then we can introduce you because the bonding process is then complete. Right? Okay. Woo! Most intense. With that being said, I go back to the table I was laying on where I was having the experience. I laid myself on the, back on my back, facing up, and I saw what I thought it was my higher self. It was a curtain, and on the other side of the curtain was a couple of beings, and I could see their shadows, but I heard the voice, and I think that's me. And I said, "What are you doing?" And I saw my body morphing and changing, and they said, "We're restructuring your DNA pretty much." And I go, "What do you mean?" And they're like, "We're fixing you." And I was like, "Well, what are you fixing?" And they were like, "We're fixing everything this time. Like, you're getting fixed. Things need to change. This needs to blah." So I was like, "Give me my light body." And they were like, "No, we're not giving it to you. Don't ask like that." We don't want you asking anyone here like that. It's going to happen, but don't ask us like that. That's not really asking us. That's like telling us. I said, may I please have my light body? I don't know how to defeat these guys. And they were like, oh, so this is the problem you're having. I said, okay, let's get something straight. Let's go over this for a second. There are reptilians, other weird ET aliens, stuff with blood and taking body parts apart, rape. They're in spaceships. They got helmets and laser guns. I mean, technology that we don't have. They're bigger, faster, smarter. And they were like, oh, that's what you're worried about? I said, yeah, pretty much. It's a 1,500-pound animal raping me. Yeah, I get it. What can I do to beat this thing? What are you guys doing? How are they doing this? Like, I was freaking out. And then this ball of energy, it looked like I was sitting inside of Earth and Earth was spinning, but it was just like air with clouds or something, and it was moving. And I said, oh, this is the sphere of time. So I was just sitting in it like, ugh. And a little portal opened right off to the side of me, and I saw this little being come out and drop something in. And I go, oh, that's how you're doing it. You're portaling in. And then I saw another portal open, and the being that was doing some damage to me stuck his hand in, pulled out whatever was dropped off for me. Whatever that being was trying to leave for me to show me, hey, look at this. The other guy took it before I could get to it. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, wait, I wouldn't have been aware of that unless I saw you do that.
Right.
They were like, this goes on all day. The chess game, the grand chess game. We can only help so much. There's only so much we could do while they're directly interfering. And we're there for when they step over the line, then we can really react to this. So I go, oh, so you're time traveling as well. So you're 1,500-pound giant reptilian. You got dudes with telepathy and telekinesis and spaceships and laser guns and helmets. Oh, and you're going through time. You're traveling through time and you're doing this to us. Okay, what do we do? How do I beat this? Because I'm ready to go right now. And they said, beat it. What are you looking for, a war? I says, no, there's not supposed to be a war, but what do we do? And the light body just activates. I look down at my chest. I just see light, and boom, came up. It was like 2 feet off me. It was like I was big. Like little Frank was sitting inside the light body. And I went, oh, look at this shit. Right? Like, I was looking over at the being, and the being was like, sit down. And I'm like, what'd you say to me? And I just kind of moved. And he was like, oh, look what happened. He knows who he is. Mm-hmm. Boom, they back up. They all just stopped doing it. I'm like, where you guys going? Don't you want to play now? And then I go, what's happening? What's going on? Like, it wasn't Frank's attitude and ego trying to push that, like, oh, where you going? It was the big guy, like, come over here. We're going to continue this. Come here. And they were like, no. He sees who he is. And I go, what's happening?
Because to raise your awareness of the situation.
They said, you are. And that's really big and important and intense and whatever. But you're all. So you're everything encompassing everything. So what makes you think that they're actually faster? Right? They're fast. But your thought, perhaps faster. Giving you all this time before these things started thinking, we're going to do, and I already heard it. It was directed. I could hear it. And then I was in place somewhere else. When the portal opened, I just closed one, grabbed what I needed from the other guy, shook his hand, and everything was done before anyone knew what happened. Because
they're traveling at the speed of thought. So it happens that fast. I think that's faster than the speed of light.
For sure. Oh, for sure. Thought would be considered one of the fastest things. It's like before you blink, your thought has already been done for seconds.
Right, and you've already gone and done it. That's how quick it is.
So there's this thing, as fast as thought, and your imagination of creation is your weapon. So you're telling me we can do anything and everything.
Literally.
And they're like, yes. Mm-hmm. I'm like, so they can't do nothing. I'm like looking at them going, that's just one, that's not even a slice of the pie. That's like a little bite off the tip of one of the pieces where I'm the whole pie.
Because we don't have to accept what we're shown. We can choose to accept what's happening to us during that experience, or we can We can change what's happening by changing our thoughts and emotions. And then when you do that, you raise your frequency. And then it no longer fits. So the fear, there's no room for that fear. You push through it.
Well said. Well said. That's exactly what it is. I think from that moment on...
Yeah, it's scary. Scary stuff.
From that moment on, I started losing fear more. I didn't even know it was there. Because I'm the light being now. I'm like, hey, this is great. And they're like, just lay back and let it like heal you and absorb this now, because this is going to take a while for you to mentally absorb. And I'm like, well, I kind of told this story over the course of a show and a quarter. And it, you know, it's really just in 3 or 4 parts, but so much more happened that I was unaware of, to my body and to everything else and all the other things. It takes a week or 2 weeks before it starts to filter in, and you go, oh, that's what was said. That's what went on. That's how we went through this. And
right.
Wait, there was more to it. I wasn't just in the birth canal. Aya had me, and she said, you have to come through me to come through your mother, and it's all has to be chosen, and it's perfect. You're perfect. You are perfect, and you're exactly where you need to be. That was like, whoa. So nothing needs to change? They're like, just keep moving
forward.
That's all you got to do. It took me a little while after that to come out of the haze of it. Mm-hmm. And I was right back into the game a little while later.
Yeah.
Back into the room. Me, Aaron, and Paula. Aaron, I didn't want you seeing me like that. I don't let anyone see me like that. Over fear, you might be rejected mentally from you having your experience. You saw what I look like. Might be the worst, rolling on the floor, face making, fool, noise making, body flipping back and forth, like a constant weird thing. And then I'm out, and then I'm up. That would scare some people, like the throw up and the this, and you know, and the drooling, and you can't. They're trying to eat me, and like when you hear that stuff, you're like, what the hell is he going through?
Of course, because what you go through is completely different from what other people go through. So your experience can't be compared. It really can't. I mean, we've shared enough experiences with enough people to realize that every experience is unique. You know, for me, it's always internal. It's never really external. For you, it's a lot of there are a lot of external,
like
visual things that you go through. For me in particular, it's working on myself. It's working on my body. It's working on self-love or doubt or whatever the issue is that I'm trying to work through. We don't get to choose. You can set your attentions and you can clear your mind, and you can focus on what you think you need to be fixed or you think you need help with. But it's whatever issue is more prevalent at the time, whatever they feel you need to clean up
it's
first.
It's the hero you need,
not the hero you want.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly how it is.
And I try to keep that on top of the page for everyone, because everyone has these... Everyone does this misconception,
yes.
or they think what's going to occur,
exactly.
and then it's nothing like that.
Exactly, or they
Shaman,
think they have an idea of what this experience should be like, and if the experience doesn't match what you have in your mind or in your head, and it could never, because it depends on what state you're in when you have this experience. So what you think is going to happen and what actually happens could be two completely different things.
And they usually are.
And, you know, if you're coming from a place of acceptance, then you'll get through it. But if you're coming from a place of doubt to begin with, then you're like, oh, this didn't work. Or this isn't what I wanted. This isn't what I signed up for. But it's what you needed.
This is not what I signed up for.
And you don't get a choice. You really don't get a choice on what gets fixed, what gets healed.
You know, it's funny that you're saying that, because as a child, I would be like, no, Ma, I know what I'm doing, blah. And she's like, no, you need to do this. This you don't need to do. This is nonsense. And I'm like, no, I know what I'm doing. And guess what? Mom was always right when I couldn't see the bigger picture. I just couldn't, because I'm in it.
Right. And
she was able to teach me.
And that's you as a child.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now
imagine under Aya with big children.
This is the story of life. You don't see the bigger picture. We're each given a little piece of the picture. we all don't get to see the bigger picture. Or if we do, it's still only a portion of the bigger picture. And this is going to go perfectly into what happened to you last night. So,
Oh, boy.
everyone, you think, okay, if you try, it's 100%. And, you got 100% of the pie, or you got 100% of the picture, or you got 100% of the idea. You don't. You only given a piece of the picture. So your idea of the big picture is a fraction of what that picture truly is.
Yeah, it's really.
And you may never know. That's the whole idea. You don't get to know until the end what the big picture is.
They are not going to ruin this surprise.
No.
Whatever that is.
Human life, no. They're not going, no.
It's just surprise after surprise.
Exactly.
Right? The more we know, the more we know nothing.
Right.
So, all right. So then we kick it forward. I think my experience grabbed Aaron a little bit, and he wanted in to try smoking. We tried. We were going to go one. He said that's him in there. He said you could tell.
Oh, in the chat room.
Yeah, I'll go through it quick though, because I want him eventually to tell about his experience. But one thing we locked into place, and I'm going to talk about that real quick. He said, "Well, I'll just do a hit," and I'm like, "You got to kind of do a little more than that. I want to gradually go in." It's like, I know, but what you want and what you need are two different things. It's like saying, give me a Z pack, but I'm only going to take the first 3. This is a terrible pharmaceutical metaphor.
It doesn't
take
work
5
like
to
that.
6 of them, and you need to take all of them, or it doesn't work. It could come back worse.
Right.
So taking a little, it doesn't really help sometimes, and it could actually make things worse. You just take the medicine and let it work on you, period. Right? And you just go through the process. Anyway, that's just my thoughts as a shaman. He took 2 monster hits. Monster. Bigger than I could take on 3 hits. His second hit out, he was blowing it in my face. And I took his 3rd hit, but it was so much. He had like the Richie Johnson lungs where he just, he's a big guy. He's over 6 foot. Has the Space Jesus thing going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful man. He tells me right before this, he sets up a camera, and I'm like, you sure you want to do that? He's got the camera and the heat signature camera. So I'm watching him on that, and I just put everything down, and he took that second hit, and he went into the yoga pose, I'm just sitting with my legs crossed, and then he started falling over. He was gone. I said, take the 3rd hit, come on. He's like, he wasn't even available, like no one home. Which is great. That means you went in.
That means he's working. Yeah.
Oh, it means
it's
he
working.
went in because when you're unresponsive, but you're making facial movements like, you're like, yeah, you're going to work.
Yeah, well, you're there. You're not here.
Exactly. So he broke through in 2 hits. I can't explain his breakthrough because I'm not him. But anyway, he told me, I want you to stare into my eyes when I'm under. I want you to do it. And I want to get that. I want to see the eyes. All right. Remember, we were doing all that stuff in the house with the eyes and the Taurus turned on its side and so much cool shit. So I tried to look into his eyes, and his eyes were rolling in his head. And then I put him down. I laid him flat on the floor. He started kicking out with his legs, and I jumped on his legs. And then I was like, all right, I can't just let him smoke. Like we became friendly. So it was very easy to fall into, hey, just smoke and we'll be fine. I got you. But that's sometimes it's like the no bueno. I do that with Nick Zervos. He's like, I want the full service. And I run up to him and I hit him with the energy charge with my palm.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I put it there and I lock into their energy and I start twisting and twirling around. I put one leg over either side of him and he was kicking his legs. And I'm like, please do not kick me in the nuts. I leaned over him and I like pushed my hand on his chest. Now he has this on video. You kind of see it from the angle. I'm smiling into the camera because I see it's watching me. It's got me perfectly. And I'm like, oh, check this out. And then I start doing it. And he just opens his eyes and goes, ah. And I go, breathe. And he goes, oh, you're right. That works. Boom, back out again.
Right.
Right. So I had to wait for this. Then he sits back up a few minutes later. We were like 2 songs into it. And he's like, how long I've been gone? I'm like 2.5 songs maybe. And he's like, what? He goes, can I smoke? I want to do it again. Like more. And I was like, we can do it. I don't know if it's going to push us, but let's do it. He took another 2 hits and sat there and I took a big hit, and we just stared into each other's eyes. I mean, we were holding each other's heads like, meh. And it was like cameras dilating into each other to where it's like you're looking at the face. But you ever see a movie where you see the guy staring at the other guy's face, and then all of a sudden the background looks like something out of an animation, and then the head's just like, hey, moving there, and you're like, do I look like that on the other side? So it did that, and then we came back, and he started going. There was a whole conversation that went on there, Frank. There's layers and layers and layers and layers going up, and we're having them there and there. So I said, well, it might take some time for this to work out. And then, boom, I got like the first insight on what we were talking about. Then the second one. And man, like a week later, I'm remembering the whole conversations on how we agreed whoever finds each other first has to do this for the other one. You can't let the other one go without it. So I'm just going to wrap that up there with that we have contracts with people. He's on the other side of the U.S. to me. Right? I think he's in Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. To find out, we had this pre-planned. Now, your free choice allows you to fuck this up, I guess. I don't even know anymore. Right? You just go off to the left or right and never show up. Frank and Paula never meet. We never decide to make it work and fuck, and then we just decide to go out the direction. But no, we opted the other way. And our higher selves brought us
Together, yeah.
Through all of the distractions and crazy, and we unlocked to find out we had this agreement beforehand to unlock each other, and now it's done. All right, when we come back, we'll pick up with what's happening right now. Just stick around. This is Fearless.
This is Truth Frequency Radio.
No hate, no hype, no fear. Real people, real radio.
Am I a weak or is this a dream? A fantasy where I'd rather be. So come and talk with me. Come and walk with me. Is this a wake-up call from my reality? Have you seen my friends? Have you seen my girl? Wake me up from this. I'm trapped in this world. Thought you were alive until you felt my pain. The circus in my mind.
What's up? This is your man, Frank Castle, Sorcerer Supreme, right here each and every Saturday night. Truth Frequency Radio. This is Fearless. I'm joined by my ethereal translator, Paula Milo.
I'm right here.
So, special shout-outs and special mentions. Rihanna from Woodland Wands Creations. She drank, along with Joshua Ryan, separately, both of them, in different places.
During the same time.
During that exact ceremony that I had with myself. And the idea was to find each other, but I haven't drank in so long, and then a bunch of the three of us actually haven't drank that. It's been a while. But both showed up here while I was flopping around like a fish and witnessed me going. Josh was like, dude, this is before we spoke, so nobody knew anything. He was like, you were having a very rough time. And I was like, man, yeah, I'm going to let him handle his business. Rihanna was they were kind of like, he's right there. He's doing his thing. Just leave it alone. It's like when the first thing I said was, is my grandmother okay? I turned, I saw Viola was standing right next to me, and she put her palm in my face, like, mind your business.
Yes.
Mind your business. And I go, what? I just want to know you're okay. I'm fine. Mind your business.
Yep.
And when I thought, how rude, the next thought was, no, she's all right. She's doing her thing.
Yeah.
So
she's holding her space.
Yeah, so I'll just send love in that direction and not peek because that's none of my business.
Right.
That's just the way this works.
Right.
Check out IamWeAreFearless.com. 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 We got summer clothes coming. Those designs, those crazy, crazy psychedelic designs.
Aaron was wearing some cool stuff when he came from the Fearless
that's Ben's
website.
design. I love that. I don't know what to call it. It's just art. It's beautiful artwork. But see, he calls it the microbe world.
Yeah.
So it's like where Ant-Man goes to see the micro universe. He studies that. All his books and texts and everything. So when he painted that, he said to me, these are my paintings from the microbes. He has an accent. I can't do it well. Not Aaron, Sven. And I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, microbes, bro. And I go, you mean the microverse? Like Ant-Man? He goes, yeah, something like that. I go there and I paint what's there. And I go,
That's awesome.
This is amazing. And he's like, as above, so below. And you go all the way to the smallest nothing pixel and then work your way back up. And if you paint from there, it's the same thing as if you painted the universe. And I go, yeah, I get it, because our nervous system looks like the trees.
Yeah,
and the root systems,
the root system.
So I get it.
I have no talent like that. I really don't.
I could just talk about their talent like that. Because
No, it's beautiful.
it's
I just don't have. I don't.
can't paint.
I can cook and feed cats.
You cook amazing.
No. I'm just saying.
You're also
I'm
the
not.
cat mama.
No, I know. I'm not looking for compliments. I'm just saying. I would love to.
No, that
be
was a fact. It's not a compliment as much as it is.
But I would love to be talented like.
You know, people see that and go, I can't do that. Why doesn't my cat do that with me? You have like a bunch of them that do that with you. And then we go, you still have no idea. No idea what goes on. I had a shower incident where I purged again midweek in the shower. And this was I was supposed to talk about this last week. I never got to it. So it was actually the week before. Midweek, the aya was still working hard on me. And in the shower, portal opened. I started screaming that you're going to leave me again. You're going to leave me again. I can't go through this again. And I was like purging in the shower. And then they're like, a hand reached down and I said, where are you going? Well, come over here. And I kind of reached up. I didn't know what I was doing. And they were like, no one's going anywhere. And the hand pulled me up.
Right.
And they said, this time we all stay. Like, no more not connected. We're never doing that again. Like, even the beings there are like, never again. We did it. It's the experiment. It's the grand, great experiment. You shall never suffer that fate again, as well as the I am we are. We're not doing that again because we know what it entails now, and we're still going to be going through it for many a year.
You won't be alone. They
You
were telling
will
you
never
you won't
be
be
alone.
alone.
Not that we were ever alone, but literally, you're going to know it now. And I thought that was beautiful.
It is beautiful because you could be in a room full of people and feel lonely. So the security of that feeling is a good feeling.
Yes, that's wonderful, actually, right? Securely knowing that you're connected as just
on a deeper level. You're connected
super
on a
deep.
deeper level, and that's it. Just the gnosis of that is enough.
During that shower, this is where you're going to find some jokes. During that moment that I was going through you'll never be alone, my eyes were closed. I was looking at light beings. I was playing music in the shower. And once again, Aaron's head comes bouncing into the picture like the background.
Yep.
And he's smiling, and I go, hey, it's Aaron. What's up, Space Jesus baby face, right? And he looks like a greater, it's just uncanny. And I said it jokingly, and he smiles and smiles and smiles. It's just his version of my smile, and it's big, like, and then the phone starts going off like crazy. And I just open my eyes and turn around, and my Facebook is going off, and I'm getting messages from him. And I said, I wasn't even paying attention to that. I thought I was about to talk to him or be like, hey, look, buddy, you just showed up. So I know it's unlocking. Our awareness is going up. Drip, drip, drip every day, every day, every day. Forward momentum. Well, I'm not a light being today, Frank. You said I would be. No, I didn't. I said drip, 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 10% a week. Who knows what you need? You know what you need. You deal with that, right? You know what you need inside. All I do is hold the space for you. If you ever came to me, all the great teachers send you right back to yourself. Frank's not doing it. Nope. Frank creates the safe, sacred space for you.
Yes, and then you do the work.
And Aya does it with you. And if you need me, I'm there. Like, I'm in the pocket. It's like, having a guy on the bench that could step up and play.
Yeah.
But I'm also cheering for you. I'm also watching the other team play against you. If there's a foul, I could go, yo, foul. They'd be like, don't get involved. You could yell from the sideline, but you ain't coming in here.
That's kind of like what happened with Rihanna. She was told not to interfere, and you were told not to interfere with her experience.
Don't even ask.
Yeah, just make sure
we're all
they're
here.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what everyone was fine. Everyone's fine. And then I went through what I went through, and I was going, hey, if they went through that, I mean, we got all age groups in here. That's a little vicious. I hope the cycle was, and they're like, hero you need, not the hero you want. So don't worry about it. We got them. We got you. We're taking care of you in the correct manner. Okay, so this week, lots of stress.
Oh boy.
Frustration. scenarios and situations that will just blow your mind over and over. How can I say this without ever saying anything?
It was a heavy-hearted week with Grandma, and she's
in hospice in the house, and
she was in the hospital. We didn't know what was going to happen, so it was a very heavy-hearted week, and we were trying to keep our the vibration up, the frequency up, but it's hard. And Frank got attacked again.
Okay, so I know a few of my shaman buddies have had some issues.
Big issues.
Big issues, to the point where you'd be like, hey, man, or woman, this needs to be dealt with immediately, because you don't normally have stuff like this go on. You hear about it, but you're like, come on, right? The greatest teacher leads you back to yourself, right? And then connecting with the different people that are having all these different issues. Everyone has one, so we're cycling through, but I can only do 2 or maybe 2 a day. It's like you talk to 2 people and that's it. You're done, because then you got your own stuff. You got to meditate. You got to
right,
eat,
and then you have to clear
work,
yourself too, because you take on their energy.
Yeah, and you can't help it. Right? I don't know how you do this, but
I'm tired all the time. That's
No. But like I've seen you drop the shields accidentally and get hit with it
a couple of times, yeah.
Or be around too many at once, and it's like they must all be like feeding off that.
Yep.
Because it's a safe, sacred spot. So why not? Right. The other side is just like, yeah, I guess you could have some, and then you're drained. All right. Well, that shit's nothing to what happened, right? All that, right? Then, okay.
So it's a Friday. It's just a Friday night.
No, this wasn't just a Friday night.
Frankie and Paula are thinking, hey, we're going to have a great Friday night.
Oh, yeah, that was already thought ahead.
Yeah,
this is going to be great.
Sending love to Friday night. We're just going to hang and watch movies, and it's going to be a great Friday night. And no, that's not what happened.
So everything worked in a weird, didn't fit anyone's. It didn't even really fit mine.
No,
and it didn't matter that I was just hanging out with a buddy and this, that. Beyond that, it didn't, there was like a timer going off that didn't feel correct, and it caused a little problem. Paula and I had a few words together. She was upset. I was upset. And then,
boom.
Yeah, I go in the other room. I take my phone. I'm angry, but I'm not. I was angry, sad, upset. But the feelings go quicker because we've been working on this. So everything that would take 2 weeks or a month normally is
takes
taking
a few minutes
usually.
Yeah.
So I'm cycling through this, and the energy that comes up, let's say, wells up from your midsection when you're upset and someone hurts your feelings, and you're like, I can't believe that you said that and that happened. Oh, it hurt me. Right? That usually extends outward and shoots out, or goes up, or does something. It went up in my body to my head. It like bubbled out in my head and then shot back down to my feet, and then back up to my head, back down to my feet. And I was going, what's happening? So it goes anger, sadness. I don't trust. I'm so angry. Now I'm not angry. What's happening to me? This is weird. I don't know what's going on. Then it has nothing to do with you at this point.
So,
now,
yeah, because all of those feelings are now manifesting physically.
I'm on the floor, shaking violently like I'm having a seizure. Except my heart is fine, and my internal guy was fine, trying to figure out a way to stop it, but I couldn't stop it. Just couldn't.
Nope.
So we had this little thing where she came in the room, go in the other room. I came out here, she came out here, and then I went back in the other room, and then she came in to check on me again, and I'm just laying on the floor. I'm like, I can't do nothing. I thought I was having anxiety attack, a panic attack, a this attack. None of that was a key factor. There was very little panic. There was very little anxiety. What there wasn't was no release of the energy.
It was a physical experience you were having.
So Paula finds me on the floor.
Shaking. So now I don't know what happened, because I'm in my mind, I'm thinking, how could what happened escalate into what I'm seeing right now? It was just get away from me. It wasn't it wasn't an end of the world.
No, it was for
argument.
Sure not the big.
So
big
now
fight.
I'm coming into the room and I'm seeing him basically convulse.
She thought I was crying, and I hadn't cried yet, Usually I cry.
I
But I wasn't crying. I said I pulled my hands out from my eyes. I'm like, I'm not crying.
Yeah,
but
and he says
the words out.
I can't speak and I can't get off the floor. So now I'm thinking he's having a seizure, and I feel his body, and he's incredibly hot, and he looks sunburned. So I say, we got to get you off the floor. We have to get you to the bathroom. We have to cool you down. You're gonna have a seizure or a stroke. You're so hot. And it took about 10 minutes to get him off the bedroom floor into the bathroom. You
literally helped me off the floor and got me into the bathroom, sat me down. Okay, so we have that towel that you wet and it stays cold.
Yeah, it's like the menopause towel.
Yeah, the menopause towel.
So I get the towel.
How fast?
Oh yeah, this is not working.
I did not feel the heat coming off me. It was weird. I was word salad.
You couldn't even speak.
Words were coming out backwards.
Yeah, you were mumbling.
I was talking. I was trying to say all kinds of stuff, and the big guy was putting it through, and then it came out crooked.
It wasn't coming out of your mouth. Yeah. So now I get towels and washcloths, and I'm soaking them in cold water and throwing them on him because now I don't understand what's happening. I know he's being attacked in some way, but I'm also being realistic and making sure this isn't a physical thing that's happening. Like, do we need to call an ambulance? Like, we're not stupid either. You know what I mean? Like, I realize he's being attacked, but I'm also worried about his physical body because he's turning red. So I grab towels and washcloths and I'm soaking them in cold water, and I basically covered you in wet towels until your body temperature came down.
It took a minute too.
It did. It took another 10 or 15 minutes.
I couldn't stand or sit in the bath. I was afraid I was going to drown. I felt like
we were afraid I wasn't going to be able to get you out of the tub.
Yeah,
so I
slip and fall
sat
for
you
sure.
down, and the bathroom was soaked, but I didn't care. And Frank's going, the earthly, I just cleaned the bathroom today. I said, Frank, don't worry about it. It's just water. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, like that's all I could muster up. That and apologies of not.
I'm sorry to scare you like this.
I'm not sure. This isn't me trying
to scare you.
Yeah,
this is really happening, and we have to deal with it. So I get his temperature down, and I get him to the point where he can speak because he wasn't communicating. And anyone who knows Frank knows that the words Frank has a certain amount of words he's got to use every day or he'll blow up. So now I'm thinking, oh my goodness, did he not use all his words? Is this what's going to happen? And then he starts being able to communicate to me what's happening. So now I feel a little better. And we get an understanding of what's going on.
So we kind of hang out. We watch the end of Hellboy, the first movie, right? That was just on, and you decided. I think I had to go outside and see someone, but and I was trying to like stay right,
focused, calm.
But I looked up and I saw some movie on, and I was like, you could watch a movie. I need to get out of the house, man. And so I was kind of snippy, but that was because I couldn't get words out. So that's what just popped out. It comes off like an S. And then you were like, I'm going to bed, right? And I came in. Everything was fine. I rolled a blunt. I was like, I stopped smoking it. I said, I'm going to save this for Paul. It was this like this. I said, she's going to get up in a little while. I know it. Or in the morning, we're going to have it together. And we're going to get over it because it's a really good one. I finally rolled a perfect blunt. Okay, none of this matters because what happens next is going to blow your mind because I'm in awe, but there was a victory involved with it. So
now you have to understand also, I am freaking out and I have have to process what happened.
Yeah, we're not
because we're trying to figure out. Like, this isn't happened. Even. Yeah, he wasn't on anything. Like this is just something that happened after an argument. So now I'm trying to process how could the argument that we have lead up to what happened, and I'm trying to put it together in my head realistically. Literally put it together in my head to try to figure out what went wrong in the course of 15 minutes. How did this happen? And then how did we get here? But I was I was overthinking it. And then I said, you know what, Frank, if you're okay, I'm just going to go to sleep because now I need to process what happened because I was shaking.
Yeah, it was bad.
And,
It was really bad.
we were literally 3 minutes from calling an ambulance because I didn't know what to do.
I almost feel like there's a past life with us in it where I was a soldier that gets shot in the field and you're
Has
like,
to be
get
something
up
like
and you
that.
throw me on your back
Oh,
and
well,
walk
you were.
away with me because I was on your back.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm like, no, you're not going to be able to hold me. And you're walking with me. And I'm going, I don't know. Okay. So Paula goes to bed. Things are calming down. I shut everything off. I'm looking at the computer screen, and I start looking at action figures on one of these websites, right? And I'm just looking at the new stuff coming out, and I don't know why. Okay, so this is really scary. Okay, there was a rap at the window.
Yeah,
I was sitting in the room.
tap, tap, tap.
It was like if you took 3 fingers and went up to your window and was like, blah, 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 one after another after another. And I was like, wow, that sounded weird. So I turn around. Roxy is on the couch sitting, looking up at the window.
The cat.
So I go, oh, Bear must be on the windowsill or behind there.
Trying
it's
to,
like a
yeah.
footstep thing. And I said, that foot thing thumps. So maybe it was them digging under.
Yeah, the cat.
Okay, so I get up. And I go, no, but the sound came from high up behind me. And I look, Bear wasn't there. And it was just Roxy. And she's staring at the window. So I look at the window. I look out the window. Nothing. And I go, nah, that sounded like it was. How could you? We have the screen there.
Yeah,
so
you
would
can't
have
tap
to,
on the glass on the
you can't
outside.
tap on the glass. You have to come through the screen to do that. So, and there's plenty of, there's no give. So you're not doing it. So it had to be done from the inside. So now I'm thinking this. And I feel someone standing right behind me. So I take a deep breath. I turn around. I don't see anything. And then I look. And Nicholas Zervos and multiple people here have known the kitchen window, things peek in.
Oh, yes. I used to see it all the time.
We
I
had
saw
a being
it,
that was always sticking
into
his
the
head.
kitchen window, yeah.
And everyone that come here for an experience is like, yo, dude, who's the guy looking in the friggin' window? He looks like there's an ET there. I'm like, he just looks. We don't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
I don't know. But this was different. There was someone standing in the room, but I couldn't see them, but I could see their outline, kind of. It was almost like, it wasn't like the Predator thing. It was better. They were better concealed than that. Predator, when he moves, you could see him moving, even though it's reflecting. It was really tight. So I close my eyes and I take a deep breath and I go, okay, we're going to Wim Hof this. And I take a deep nose breath and I, looking at the computer screen, I'm about to turn around and I see right in front of me, out of the corner of my eye, a being the color of whoever saw the original Star Wars movie, the first one, when they go into the cantina and they're playing music and you see those beige-headed ETs. They're really tall and they're playing like this flute thing. It was the color of that. The shape, the head shape was that, but it was shorter. But it was kind of my height, maybe a little bit smaller. It wasn't like a big bulbous head guy. It wasn't like, I saw him run fast. And I said, I saw that. Then I turn around and beings are piling in. I close my eyes. It's all black. And I see like a portal tube instead of my window. And I see beings that look just like this thing just piling in. And I go, oh, there's an awful lot of you guys. Now I'm not freaking out yet. And I turn back around to look. And that other being that just ran was nose to nose with me. Mm-hmm. And I can see my desk wasn't there. My eyes closed.
The walls weren't there.
I could see my neighbors. There was a dome over me. It was pretty big. It was like the property line. Nothing was real. Nothing. Except me. And I can see the architectural design as if you were standing in the blueprint of where the table would be and the computer would be and the speakers would be. My wall into the bathroom wasn't there. The bathroom wasn't there. Nothing was there. But this being was standing nose to nose with me, and I jumped back. I was like, holy shit, you're right on top of me, bro. And the first thing I thought of is when I saw you with the frog being right up against your face. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I said, oh, shit, you're really here, right? So I put my head down for a second, 1 second. And I said, breathe, you got this. You're going to handle your business right now. I I was like, yo, I'm in the room with them. I'm on the other side with them, but it's not the other side.
It's here.
It's right here. There is no other side. I know better than this. And as I took a deep breath, I mean a big, massive breath, because I thought I was going to have a friggin' coronary. These things were all around me. I looked down, and then everything starts echoing down. I can't explain it. It was like I was dying. I don't know how to explain this. The DMT trip, when you first jump out of your body, minus the colors and the tunnel, there's no tunnel. It was just what was there in that domed room. And the walls looked like the holodeck that Dolores Cannon talks about. Like, you can see the tiled walls are like, they weren't, it was reverse what was here. So the tiles there were black and the lines were white. It was like a negative a version of where we are.
And again, I just want to be clear. This is happening with no psychedelic. This is just Frank
this is me straight as it gets.
Yeah, this was just after the experience we already had. I thought he was completely better, and I'm in the other room, and he's having this horrific experience basically in the living room.
Okay, exactly. So now I tilt my head forward, and it's almost like my soul was coming out of me. And I was like, whoa, what's happening? And then I had to pee really bad. I stood up and I went, you back up. I was talking out loud. I walk into the bathroom. I'm like, let me throw water on my face and pee. I feel better for a second. And then it feels like right before a panic attack starts that gets really intense, or if you have asthma and your throat closes, you know you only got like a few seconds to get your asthma pump before you go out. Like, I'm going to go out. It's okay. Get the asthma pump and I'll wake back up. I could feel my throat restricting. But I was taking these giant breaths. And I'm like, why is my throat doing that? I could still take the giant breath. Usually you can't. You're dead.
Because on the other side you couldn't breathe.
And I'm going. Yep. And then I start to pee. And then I stop. I just dead stop. And I'm like, okay, I think that's enough. I think I could. And then I wake. All right. First of all, I was still standing in the room, and I saw my body on the floor, and I was looking at my hands like, how did that happen? And I looked, and my body was in the hallway, and half in the bathroom, half out of the bathroom, dead. Tongue out of the mouth, everything. And then I was like, what just happened to me? And then I started fighting my way back, and I couldn't do it. I was like, what's happening to me? Get in there. And I got in there, and I was on the floor. I took a deep breath, and I said, I'm having a panic attack. And I could see them in the room with me, and I saw a being standing in the bathroom where I was. There was no bathroom, though, and he was pointing something at me, and it was shooting from a very small diameter concentric ring into a very big one, and it was enveloping me. And it was like a sound that I couldn't hear, but I can feel it resonate through me.
Right.
And I'm going, and I scream, Paula, and that's all that comes out. So it wasn't a scream. My higher self is like, yo, take a deep breath. Don't try to do it 3 in a row. Do one big Paula, because you're not going to be able to do it. And I'm like, what's happening? And it's like both guys are talking to me at the same time while these beings are around me, while that's going on. And I finally squeeze out, I think it was my 4th time trying, Paula, and you were like, what is it? I'm like, help. You came in here.
I know, I can't believe it. All right.
She comes in and starts to get me off the floor. We're going to have to pick up with the rest of the story next week. I'm sorry, but that's the cliffhanger, and that's how we're going to roll right now. My name's Frank Castle. This is Paula Milo, my etherical translator. This is FearLess. That makes us your protection from deception. Stick around. Paranormal Portal is up next. And